You will not defeat the Kraken, much less Hades. If you continue this journey, you will die. And Argos will still fall.
You're so sure why you're here?
To offer you sanctuary. Your blood is mine, Perseus, and that makes you a god. It's time you came to Olympus and started living like one.
Welcome back to Your Geek News. We're talking Greek mythology, and if you missed our preview of Clash of the Titans or a review of God of War 3, make sure to catch up on yourgeeknews.com.
So let's dig into director Louis Leterrier's take on Clash of the Titans. First up, it's important to know that it's loosely based on the 1981 film, which was loosely based on the legend.
Loosely? Pfft. Don't get me wrong, I thought it was a pretty awesome mythical fantasy action flick. It was a pathetic adaptation though. Call the movie whatever else you like, just don't call the main dude Perseus, because it was barely the tale of Perseus.
Well, it is twice removed from the original Greek mythology, so it is definitely turning into a bad game of telephone as far as accuracy goes. But before we review Clash of the Titans as an adaptation, let's take a look at it as a straight up rock'em sock'em blockbuster action flick.
Happy now?
Louis Leterrier definitely knocked out a killer blockbuster here. The action is incredible, the one-liners are wicked, the pacing is breakneck, and most of the effects are jaw-dropping.
With the exception of Medusa. She was conceptually cool, but the effect was as bad as the CG rock in The Scorpion King.
Yeah, you know, that was pretty 90s. That Medusa, the performance capture bar has been raised to such a level by Avatar, and Medusa just didn't measure up.
No.
I preferred the stop motion effect.
From the original.
Yeah, the 1981 effect, killer.
Fair enough, but I will say that the Kraken was breathtaking.
Oh my God, that was wicked. What a size, what a scope it had.
Yeah,
Like,
it was epic and terrifying.
Leterrier knows big, and that was big.
Absolutely.
Now, Sam Worthington, okay. I really dig this guy. I think he's a really pleasant character. In every movie, you like him no matter what.
He's definitely Hollywood's leading man. I mean, that's who they're kind of building him up to be, right?
Action hero, #1.
But he's totally the average dude.
Which is
Guys
cool.
like him, girls like him, whatever makes him a hero, I
And
guess.
apparently barbers like him because they're willing to travel to the future to get a buzz cut on this guy in ancient Greece. That weirded me right out. And Danny Houston as Poseidon, wow. I can't believe he had one line. One line in the whole, one line on camera, one line off camera. But
now Liam Neeson, let's get to the big good guy here. He was perfect as Zeus. I personally wouldn't have been so upset if he flew into my room. I'm just saying.
Okay, Ray Fiennes to me was incredible as Hades. From the wretched makeup and the rotting armor to that awesome echo/chorus effect on his voice,
That was cool.
he may have been my absolute favorite part of this movie.
Definitely. Also, let's just put it out there. Was Zeus having a brain fart with trusting Hades or
Yeah,
something?
who trusts the devil?
I mean, the king of gods can get played that easily?
Yeah, that was, I'm not gonna lie, but the score, I gotta get down to the score here. That was great. It had this recurring theme. Ramin Djawadi just did such a good job. You can remember the score after the movie.
No, exactly.
That makes a big difference.
It does, and it's not something that happens in many movies these days. I mean, this guy brought us the Iron Man and Blade Trinity soundtracks, and mostly does television shows like Flash Forward and Prison Break. But this is a score we probably won't forget, or at least this guy won't forget.
No. Now let's talk dimensions for a moment. This was not filmed in 3D like Avatar was, nor was it shot entirely on green screen like Alice in Wonderland was, so the effects couldn't even do it in post. Clash of the Titans had to be converted from 2D.
You'll notice that Louis Leterrier never really mentioned anything about the 3D aspect in our preview for the movie. That's because he didn't make a 3D movie. He just made a movie.
And Warner Brothers decided to cash in on the whole 3D craze, and they just stereoscoped the whole movie after the fact. And pretty badly, I might add.
You'll notice the movie is a bit dim in 3D thanks to the polarized glasses, and sometimes characters' faces are in 3D and their hair is floating in the background, which is kind of weird.
That's why I saw the 2D version first. I wanted to see Louis' movie the way Louis made it. And then after that, we saw the 3D version together.
I only saw the 3D version and thought it was okay. Nothing spectacular about it. And I don't mean subtle like an Avatar. I mean pretty much unnoticeable. You take off your 3D glasses and it's barely even there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Long story short, save your money, see it in 2D. It just works better.
Definitely.
Heads up, this is going to get messy. Louis' version managed to butcher the 1981 movie.
Which butchered the original story, mind you, so get ready for at least one ticked-off mythology geek over here.
Okay, the great prologue explains Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades to an audience that might otherwise need to be reminded about the most important brothers in Olympus.
Except for the part where it's pretty much all wrong.
Okay, well, to throw out Perseus' origin story by killing his mother and making him a fisherman, man, not even Pete Postlethwaite's awesomeness can make up for that terrible story decision.
Especially since Perseus' actions are supposed to be driven by his love of his mother Danae, and now he never even meets her.
Okay, I've gotta say that Io's telling of Perseus' birth, that was pretty slick. It was a good decision to put that in a little farther because that prologue was already pretty long.
Now, even though it was completely wrong, and Io's actually Perseus' stepmom and great-great-great-grandmother, not girlfriend.
Ew, that's creepy.
Yeah, well.
The sexual tension between Perseus and Io is kind of what should have been happening between Andromeda and Perseus. That's how the legend goes.
I knew it was going to be pretty loose, but when they changed the origin story to be about Acrisius' wife being impregnated by Zeus instead of his daughter Danae, I just about choked on my popcorn.
Let's talk about the fact that characters like Andromeda were split into the princess character and the love interest character when it's supposed to be a love story.
It is a love story, you're right, about a boy and his mother, not between a prince and a princess, and certainly not a revenge story. Screwing up details is one thing, but missing the moral of a myth is inexcusable in any adaptation.
But why split the love interest into two characters when they were combining other characters like King Acrisius and Calibos?
Ugh, okay, who the frack is Calibos? I mean, he's not in any mythology at all. It drives me bonkers. He just looks like a giant angry Mickey Rourke with no makeup.
Well, it's a definite improvement as far as I'm concerned that the men who accompany Perseus into Medusa's lair are all characters who matter. In the original, they just die and you don't care who they are, but when they meet a grisly end in this version, you can't help but care.
And, you know, since Perseus is supposed to be all alone in the first place, having absolutely everyone die there wound up making Medusa pretty vicious, I guess, and got rid of Perseus' made-up crew.
But having that Pegasus appear in the end, oh man, like, in the original, he had to earn it. He had to tame that Pegasus.
Okay.
Nothing?
You know what? I'm surprisingly quiet on this point, because the Pegasus legend has been butchered for almost a millennium now, and Louis is hardly the worst offender.
All right, so...
No, but Pegasus was further wrecked by this version because he's now a black horse. WTF.
Okay, all right. Well, let's get to the end of this movie. Okay, it was so obvious that Andromeda was like a half character by the end because when she's strung up and offered as a sacrifice, you just don't care. Io had already met her nasty, grisly little end, and so there's no romantic pull for Perseus. He's not trying to save Argos. He doesn't care about Andromeda. He's just out to kill the Kraken and Hades.
But once all that's over, Perseus and Andromeda awaken in a romantic beach setting, hand in hand, and you think a love may develop, and Andromeda even asks him to be king of Argos. The actual ending of the mythology is one decision away from happening. And then they completely botch up the point of the story, and Perseus leaves instead, so Zeus has to make him a new girlfriend?
Okay.
Like, what the F?
Granted, I thought that was pretty lame, but structurally, the new one is better in nearly every way. The scorpions before Medusa gives you really cool rising action, and showing the Kraken only at the end, I gotta say, that hurt. You know, in the original, the 1981, you see the Kraken destroy a city at the beginning, you know where the stakes are. It is a heavy movie right out of the gate.
You know what, I'll just say, to me the essence of the film is all wrong. Bothered me that the movie became about men versus gods, and then gods versus gods. The original story is a hero's adventure tale, a coming-of-age story where the demigod is excited about the fact that he's the son of Zeus, and he's excited to become a hero and create his own myths.
So there you have it. Two very different geeky reasons why this wicked movie is a terrible adaptation.
But even I'll say, totally worth seeing.
As long as you don't see it in 3D.
Right, so remember to keep your eyes right here for a look at all your geek movies and your geek games from the two geeks who always have something to say.
And you can keep up with all of our past previews and reviews and have your say on yourgeeknews.com.
Tell Hades I'll see him soon.
I will not make this offer again.
Good. Because I'd hate to refuse you twice.